Today's video is sponsored by Ipsos Ice. Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. On my way to work this morning I was sat right next to a 2007 Bentley Continental GT, and I was sat there thinking that's probably a £25,000 car now, and it just looks like so much car for the money. Not that it's any of my business, but I genuinely didn't know if he was a multi-millionaire that had owned the car from new, or somebody who'd, I don't know, had an accident at work and then spent every single penny of the compensation on a convertible Bentley. Who knows? And that got me thinking, what other cars are out there which will make you look richer than you actually are? I know that's a bit shallow, but that's what today's video is all about. Right then, here are my top 5 cars which will make you look rich. Number 1, or I should perhaps say, Nummer 1, because we're heading to Germany for this one. It is the Mercedes S-Class. Now the S-Class Mercedes, or the Sonderklasse, has been the benchmark of the luxury car world since it was first released back in 1972. It's always set the standard and then others have followed. It is the daddy of the bunch. If you've got a budget of around £10,000, then you'll get yourself a very decent W221, which is a model which ran from 2006 to 2013. There are diesels, petrols, long wheelbase, short wheelbase. There really is something for everyone. Just make sure you find yourself a nice one with good service history, otherwise it will start to cost you a lot of money in repairs. If you can stretch your budget to £20,000, then you'll get yourself behind the wheel of a nice 7th generation, the W222, which ran from 2014. I love the W222 S-Class. I still think it looks modern today. They're just such a gorgeous looking car. And again, I think people won't be able to know if you're a genuine millionaire or not. While we're still on the S-Class, if you want something sporty and you've got £30,000 burning a hole in your pocket, then you really must buy one of these. This is the S-Class Coupe, and I honestly think it's the most amount of car you can buy for the money today. The fact that you can pick these up for just under £30,000 with a 4.7 litre twin-turbo V8 is just astounding. They look really cool and you still have the rarity value. You hardly ever see them. When they were new, they cost well over £100,000, and now you can pick them up for a third of that. It's ridiculous. Before we continue, I just want to say a huge thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Ipsos Ice. If you've never heard of Ipsos Ice, it's a market research company that makes it really simple to participate in research surveys with simple questions, and then you can earn points towards gift card rewards. They've been around for nearly 5 decades, and there are tons of gift cards available for places such as Tesco, M&S, Starbucks, Amazon, and much more, just for filling out surveys. They're really transparent too about how the data is used, and it's quick and easy enough to get through 1 or 2 in the evening. It's a great way to monetize your free time with just your phone at home. The surveys are tailored to your interests, so they stay interesting, and as I mentioned, the surveys are really easy to fill out. Whether it's sharing your views on the latest TV shows or giving your thoughts on fitness trends, Ipsos Ice keeps the surveys engaging and interesting. The rewards are really good. Personally, I've been using them to redeem drinks at Starbucks. It's amazing how quickly they can rack up. I've even managed to get my brother on board, who's been using his points towards Amazon gift cards, all while he sits and watches TV at home. It's really simple. So click the link below in the video description to start earning rewards today with Ipsos Ice. Right, back to the video. Number 2, or numero 2, I really need to stop doing that, don't I? We're heading to Italy for this one with Maserati. Now you're probably wondering, well, which Maserati, Matt? There are lots of different models. Well, all of them, every single one. They're all quite cheap to buy and they'll all make you look far richer than you actually are. If you want something sporty, then there's the Gran Turismo. Prices of those start at just £16,000, which I think is just insane. You get an awesome sounding 4.2 litre V8, beguiling looks, a nice interior. And again, nobody will know that this isn't a £100,000 car. I just find it astounding that these can be bought for so little. If you need more space than a 2-door coupe offers, then you could go for the creatively named 4-door, the Quattroporte. I did a review with one of these last year and I was really impressed with it. They're really great cars. They're even available with a 3 litre turbo diesel engine, which is quite frugal. Interestingly, you'll find yourself a good one for just £15,000. And it's a well-known fact that if you drive a Maserati, you'll instantly become more attractive to the opposite sex, or the same sex, or, you know, whatever you're into. You just will. They're cool. Number 3, the Range Rover. Now, I'm quite a sad man, so I'm a walking Range Rover encyclopedia. I know pretty much everything there is to know about them, unfortunately. I just don't know how you cannot like a Range Rover. They were the first luxury 4x4. They've been around since 1970 and they've been popular with anyone who's anyone ever since. Royalties, celebrities, captains of industry, successful people the world over. They're a classic example of a car which makes you look richer than you actually are. But you do need to be careful with what you buy. I think if you buy a blingy one with loads of chrome and heavy window tints, then it totally spoils the look. It needs to be subtle and tasteful for you to pull off the gentrified, classy look. If you've got a budget of £10,000, then I would recommend an L322, which was the Range Rover which ran from 2002 to 2012. Go for a petrol. You'll have to just suffer the MPG. They're the most reliable option. either a 4.4 litre Jaguar V8 or a 4.2 litre supercharged Jaguar V8, and you won't have any engine trouble. You'll have other issues, no doubt, but not engine related. If you can stretch your budget to £25,000, then you'll get yourself a decent L405. Now the L405 was the Range Rover which ran from 2012 to 2022. They're much more luxurious and they're a better car, but the L322 is a bit more of a workhorse, and in all honesty, I think a better Range Rover. Number 4, my inspiration for this whole video, the Bentley Continental GT. This was a very important car for Bentley. It massively helped turn around their fortunes. Before the Continental GT, Bentley just made stuffy cars for stuffy old red-faced men with double-barrel names. But with the GT, which came out in 2003, here was a car which appealed to a much younger audience. It was an instant hit. I've been fortunate enough to own a few of these cars over the years, and although the price is temptingly low, the running costs aren't, so be warned. Still, we don't need that sort of negativity today, do we? Whatever you do though, keep a rainy day fund. Keep a few grand back for maintenance, repairs, you will need it, and that way you won't be caught off guard. If you'd rather have a convertible GT, known as the GTC, then you'll have to spend around £25,000, but I honestly think it's worth spending the extra. They look truly timeless. Now my pick would be a new shape 4 litre V8, but that will still set you back around £40,000. Last on the list then, at number 5, is another favourite of mine, the Jaguar XJ. I've done lots of videos with the XJ on this channel. I love them. I love them all, to be honest, but the one that I'm going to recommend today is the X351, which ran from 2010 to 2019. In 2019 it was foolishly cancelled, and I don't think we'll ever see another, which is quite sad. They're such great value for money. You can pick these up from as little as £6,000. I know the styling's a contentious subject, but I think they nailed it. It looks very modern whilst keeping its roguish British image. They're also quite sensible to run. The best engine if you're on a budget is the 3 litre turbo diesel V6, which is smooth, punchy and frugal. Just make sure it's had the cam belt done. They're due at 8 years or 105,000 miles. You need to service the engine regularly and the gearbox every 70 or 80,000 miles, and just keep your fingers crossed. You'll probably have a few issues with the door locks and the window regulators, that's quite common. I'd recommend spending around £15,000 and you should get yourself a decent example with sensible mileage. Right, well I think that's about it. Thank you for watching. One thing I will say though before I disappear, if you're thinking about buying one of these cars, then you really must keep some money back. Although they're cheap to buy, they're not necessarily cheap to run. So what you need to do is set yourself a budget and then keep back maybe 10%, 20%, 30% if you can afford it, and just keep it in a separate bank account, and that can be your rainy day pot. And remember, if you can only just about afford one of these cars featured on this list, then you didn't ought to be buying one. You need to be able to afford this and 10 or 20% on top. Otherwise you're just cutting it too fine. Right, well I think that's about it. That's my opinion. Let me know your suggestions in the comments below. Thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the link below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.